remember to just mute your phone while the poet's reading. Okay, mute your thing.
So I was thinking of reading poetry from my book, but I didn't bring it here. So I'll read a different poem. It's called How to Make Saag Paneer. Do you guys know about saag paneer or palak paneer? Yeah. Okay, so this is my family recipe. Gently wash all the green and pink leaves in a tub of water. My ma would have taught you palak paneer as she hated other greens. My husband was raised to eat everything and he taught me the same. Chop them slightly and carefully. When I was younger, Ma kept me away from the kitchen. I touched a pan by mistake and singed my fingertip. Her anger made it worse. Blend leaves with garlic, green chili, and ginger. Ma uses a lot of garlic and green chili. I'm learning to tone it down for my family and I try every day. Heat a large skillet with 2 spoons of oil. Ma uses ghee in everything. I prefer oil in this recipe and it tastes better. Add your whole dry spices. Let them pop. Savor the aroma. Try to keep the heat down. Add the diced red onions and cook them for a minute. I have learned to multitask. I dice them as the oil heats and stay organized. Transfer the puree into the skillet. Be mindful, it can splatter unexpectedly, leaving you with wounds that resurface as you get older. Cut the tofu. Ma and I seldom use paneer. My husband gets upset when I call it saag paneer. I've explained, habits die hard. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for shuffling the order for me. Thank you.
You're welcome to read another one now, Sunana, if you wish. Or you can.
I actually have one more. Okay.
Okay.
Called Squeaks. This poem is about my son who had a slight speech delay because of COVID. This poetry is about him. It's called Squeaks. Squeaks the brown oak door as we enter inside. Squeak, the door closes and you throw your shoes on the side. I almost squeak for the umpteenth time. Keep everything in its place before washing hands. Squeaks, no creaks, but just as annoying the couch as you sit to see the picture book. Squeaks the kitchen floor as I walk over it to get the trash bag and finish my chores. Squeaks open the door again as I walk to the trash chute, and ironically, the trash door squeaks too, and in my head will explode if I hear another squeak, but the door closes again and there it is. As if I don't have enough on my mind, but squeak goes the brown door again as I enter and wonder when you will speak. Squeaks and creaks the couch as you bounce on it, wanting my attention. Squeaks and creaks it even more as you show me the book you want to read but still can't. Squeak, speak. I wonder if you will need special school and how to afford it. Squeaks, no creaks, more annoying now, the couch as I sit by you and feel like pulling my hair, but then you squeak. A hi, with a grin. And I look at you wide-eyed as you wiggle out to squeak, or actually speak. Bye, Mama, and giggle while I happily shriek. Thank you.
You have a lovely gift for making the ordinary seem poetic, and the rhythm of your poems beautiful. So thank you. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I think we all did. Now Peter's going to read some poems by Mohammed, who can't be with us this evening. So,
yep. Right. The first one is called The Venerable Lands. Living like the hills in a land of the hot winds, the holiness of Islam fanning faces, waiting for Jannah, the place of sweet perfection, grooming the lambs the shepherd chases, facing the Kaaba in times of rain or warmth, working with tired hands, date trees by the houses. So many Ramadans telling hunger to be tame, camels over sands where a footprint trespasses. Age-old Palestine lives on, while storms blow there in dusks, noons and dawns. And the other one is November Song. November Song, the old buses roll on, shopping bags again, adverts on bus sides, the drone of traffic, no rain today but tomorrow, Novice that I am, I think a small charitable act saintly or notable. Advent and bag tunes for the whistler before all the celebrations. November life, a walk away from stale politics, hurting for 13 years. Entering the house, decorations must be up. The music awaits streaming. That's Mohammed.
Two lovely poems. Thank you, Mohammed, even though you're not here. Right. No other absent poets who you need to read for, Peter? Okay, look forward to hearing you later then. So we can move over to Jane. Are you ready for us, Jane?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Because I never
perfectly.
know if I'm being. Yes. Yes. This poem is called African Dance. I wrote it quite a while back. Miranda, you know Miranda, she was 6. She came home one day from primary school and said, I want to be white. Why aren't I white? I was quite upset. And worse, my 5-year-old Eva said, Mom, does Jesus love little black children too? Because they went to a Catholic school. And I felt I felt something was wrong, obviously. What were they picking up from school? And I gave up the teaching of French, joined the Multicultural Support Service, and started teaching English as an additional language. And that was my way to using storytelling, the stories I heard as a child. And Nancy, so West African culture. So basically it was to make sure they knew about their culture. And so I took them to African dance. Christine and George were the drummers. And I couldn't sit still. I didn't behave like an adult, so they give me the gong gong. Can you see the gong gong? To keep me quiet. So the drum, George, the drum. The children will dance, and I'll play the gong gong. Watch them dance. George, see them move. No need. I'm muted. Suddenly seems I'm muted. If I start again.
Yeah, we have a little problem with your sound. A little problem with your sound there, Jane, just for a while.
Yes, it seems all right.
Okay, carry on then.
Unmute.
Start again. Yeah, start again. That'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah. But I won't do the gong gong because I saw you squirming. I won't do the gong gong. It's too loud. Beat the drum, George. Beat the drum. The children will dance, and I'll play the gong gong. Watch them dance, George. See them move. No need to slow the beat. There's magic on their feet. Don't fret, Africa. Your children's children are intact. Yes, they enslaved their bodies, stifled their speech, repressed their thoughts. We are snakes. There's no roaming free. We've not Africa. Children are okay. Couldn't stand the flow of your rhythm in their blood. Couldn't quell the sores in their heads. They couldn't see the power of your poetry in the limbs, made manifest in the gift of the dance. A ballet, none can equal them tap. But the sound of your drums waken distant, unknown longings in their hearts. Some of your drums, they reenact vibrations centuries old over hills and plains. Messages lost along the way where tongues of your drums were stilled. The hands of your messengers bound by trade, bound for the middle. Well, they arrived, those who survived, and today the drums throb on. And the pulses leap and the strings of the hips, the soles of the feet come loose. As they respond in the only way they know to the also anxious tune of the songs of the drums again and again and again. Beat the drum, George, beat the drum. Beat the drum while the children dance. Beat beat the drum, George. Beat it loud, now's our chance. I play the gong gong, so let the children dance.
Jane, that was lovely, but we because you've got a problem with you've got a problem with your speaker. We're only picking up about half of what the words. The rest is just crackle. It's such a shame, but I could tell it was a lovely. It was a lovely poem.
I don't know why.
You could try turning your picture off, Jane. If you turned off your video, that you might just get the audio. That might be easier.
Turn off the video. Okay, that's video. But you don't want to hear it again, do you? So that's all right. You don't want to hear that
we
again.
do. We do.
I didn't realize you would.
That works, but I think the sound is better. Try it.
Just try on sound.
Yeah.
We do want to hear it.
Okay. Beat the drum, George. Beat the drum. The children will dance, and I'll play the gong gong. Watch them dance, George. See them move. No need to slow the beat. They're magic on their feet. Don't fret, Africa. Your children's children are intact. Yes, they enslaved their bodies, stifled their speech, repressed their thoughts, but their spirits, as slippery as snakes, escaped and are roaming free. Weep not, Africa. Your children's children are okay, for they couldn't stem the flow of your rhythm in their blood. They couldn't quell the source of your music in their heads. They couldn't stay the power of your poetry in their limbs, made manifest in the gift of the dance. At ballet, they excel. None can equal them at tap, but it's the sound of your drums which awaken distant, unknown longings in their hearts. Spellbound by the voices of your drums, they reenact vibrations centuries old, echoed over hills and plains. Messages lost along the way when the tongues of your drums were stilled, and the hands of your messengers bound by scavengers in human trade, bound for the Middle Passage. Well, they arrived, those who survived, and today the drums throb on, and their pulses leap, and the strings of their hips, and the soles of their feet come loose as they respond in the only way they know to the also ancient tune of the songs of your drums again and again and again. Beat the drum, George, beat the drum. I'll play the gong gong while the children dance. Beat the drum, George, beat it loud. Now's our chance. I play the gong gong, so let the children dance.
Lovely, Jane. That worked.
Lovely, Jane.
That worked. We all appreciated that because it came through really clearly. It's very kind of profound, and it's an origin song poem, isn't it? So it's really good. Lovely.
Yes, it's yeah. When I started becoming interested in my culture, because in Dominica, where I'm from, we were British. We didn't even know we're African. So now I'm getting older. Make sure my children know who they are.
Yeah. Well, colonialism had a lot to answer for. It still does, I'm afraid. Right. Norman, are you ready to go?
Can you hear me, George?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, no problem. I just want to say, Jane, I haven't heard you read anything better. That was excellent. You know, it was well worth.
Thank you.
Oh, really, it was. It was on the button. It was really good, really good.
Thank you very much. Yes.
I don't have a brand new one tonight, guys. But I've picked out some just over the last few years, just a couple. With the nights drawing in and Christmas on the horizon, dare I say, I've kind of stuck to that theme. And the first one is about chocolate. And I know people will eventually, will be buying chocolate for their friends, family, or whatever. It's a piece of prose, not too long, but the interesting thing is in the very middle, there's a connection to do with false teeth. And in the middle section, there's about 12 lines, and it's a absolutely true story, which will all come to pass when I read it. So it's called Chocolat. And it's dedicated to my father-in-law, who, when I wrote this, was approaching 85 years old. He's now 87. Right. Well, just 2 seconds. Just give me a second. Joe? Yeah, okay. Right. Grandpa is 85 years old this August. He loves soft chocolates. You see, his false teeth stick like glue to the chewy toffees and make no impression on the hard nuts in the box. The birthday quest was set, which eventually led us to an upmarket chocolatier. Stop. Thinking of false teeth reminds me of a true funny story. It was a bitterly cold January afternoon, sitting in the main stand, watching my beloved Aberdeen Football Club play Morton in the earlier rounds of the Scottish Cup. An old boy just one row down and a few seats to my left, worse for the wear of the whiskey, jumped to his feet to give instructions on how the Aberdeen players should play. Interspersed with a few oaths, most of his shared wisdom was thankfully lost, as by mistake he spat his false teeth out and they landed one row below into a young boy's open program on his lap. "I've lost my fucking teeth," the old culprit explained. The young fan below carefully lifted the saliva-ridden objects in his program, stood up, turned with a sick face and passed them back to the inebriated offender, who pleasantly surprised bellowed, "Thank you," and sat down embarrassed. We never heard from him again. Back to the chocolatier. There we entered a different world. From Grandpa's Five Boys milk chocolate days, amongst the myriad of treats, we settled for the ice cream swirls, a collection of ice cream-inspired chocolates. Madagascar vanilla, hazelnut praline, zingy raspberry, all protected in individual plastic domes, looking like mini-coloured, unidentified flying objects, awaiting to be devoured. Grandpa is very much old school and took some time to examine and eventually admire the chalk gems. But once unpacked, having selected and popped one in his mouth, he closed his eyes and entered chocolate heaven. Some things never change. Thank you. So sticking on the sort of the winter theme, I have read this one some time ago. Not everyone on the call has heard this. It's basically about my granny, my father's mum. Her name was Charlotte MacDonald. She was born and bred and brought up in the Highlands of Scotland. And each winter, they had to endure homeschooling for about 4 to 6 weeks because of where they lived, well off the beaten track, the severe winters in those days. And I wrote this during our first lockdown, and this is like a true original lockdown. It's called The Shelter. It is well within the time of the post-Highland clearances, where you'll find crofters clinging to unforgiving land, livestock, and a past way of life. The proud MacDonald clans now scattered to the four winds. It's 6 miles to school, mainly on pony and trap, the rest on foot in all seasons, but in midwinter, lockdown. Preparing for their very own Antarctic expedition, rosy-faced children pack and cart their books and pencils back home, onward to their sanctuary during the biting winter. It's then over to mother and grandmother to homeschool. In between the cooking, cleaning, spinning, weaving and knitting, whilst father rescues the sheep from the snowdrifts and treks for firewood, cuts the peat from the bowels of the bog, hunts for the prize of venison on the lowlands. Deer descended from majestic purple high ground, taking shelter from the extreme elements, but at their own risk. All this to supplement the Croft menu of oats, milk, mutton and eggs. The children eat their porridge as the wind howls like a banshee outside, lining their stomachs for the day ahead. After lessons, during mid-afternoon, they listen intently at the feet of grandmother as she tells tales of the old days in front of a beaming peat fire. Like sheepdogs waiting on command, their eyes are focused and their ears pricked as grandmother delivers her maternal sermon. All is at peace in the world. Crofting is a hard life. Each day closes after resolute endeavour and prayer. In their Gaelic tongue, they call their winter haven Am Fasgad, the shelter. Thank you.
That was very descriptive. You took us there. The
Lovely.
hard life in the Highlands, obviously, back in the day.
Yeah.
Right, thank you for that, Norman. Hope you've got some for the second half. Be nice. Very good. Sue.
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hi.
I've got 3 shortish poems. Is that okay, George? I won't stay for the second half, but
No, that's wonderful.
yeah, I've got, okay. So the first one is a sonnet which I wrote a while ago and I've changed it completely and I'll give it another go. It's called Equinox. A fragile sky and news of summer's death. Brave gaudy petals cling, but they are lost. Celeriac and herbs, damp musky breath. Hedge cobwebs lit up with the brilliant frost. Just yesterday, these curling leaves were bright, ripe trees still apple-weighted in the sun, late roses shedding perfume to the night, not thinking of the withering to come. But days are closing in for nature's sleep, and sunny intervals give way to rain. November's sacrificial bonfires leap, rage at the dark with tongues of light again. Too deftly to consider when or how our barren winter creeps upon us now. Thank you. The next one is one of those poems which has what you think is a meaning. It may change by the time you get to the end. It's called Refuge. You must have made the crossing in the late last hours when all the doors were open. No one saw you come. You knew the weather was about to turn, that pinch of coldness in the soaring, perfect sky. You took your chance. And in the morning, here you are, your camp set up, strong fibers glistening in the autumn sun, each section perfect, taut and terrible, with all connections made, a larder and a hunter's trap, living to survive. You scare me, yet I marvel at your ingenuity, your wisdom and your industry, your fragile grace. You can't stay here, but this is mine. Your ways are alien to me. I see you waiting, watching, but your uninvited presence will not do. I hesitate a moment more, then ruthless, brush your 8 legs swiftly from my life. Thank you. And this last one is a sort of love poem, really. Tacit. We sit under white blossom on the first really warm day, and something has shifted. Something has broken free, poured into this garden, these trees, and this sky. I never thought of you as someone who drinks tea. There is so much I do not know. I know with certainty the shape and colour of your eyes, the country smile concealed within your voice, their storm cloud blue. White teacup on your hand, white saucer, tablecloth, late fragrant afternoon, white petals decorate the grass. This is so good, you say, and I know you don't mean tea.
You are very gifted, Sue. Wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Very gifted.
Great, thank you.
Loved them. Yeah,
Absolutely gorgeous. Thank
they
you.
are amazing. Oh, hard to follow that, isn't it? Anyway, I'm going to give that job to Heather. I'm sure she will. Heather, you're muted. That's it.
Yes.
Yes.
This one's called When Madness Comes to Town. Crash, crash, bang, bang, wallop, wallop. Did you hear that? How could you not? So loud such it was, penetrating and disturbing. And so again it goes again, sounding once more. To what am I listening? Your thoughts? Inside, outside, all around, up and down, round and round. School your thoughts, discipline your wells. Realize your loss is a temporary fail. For most it is not, and when they come back, as they will, your normality treasures will humor you still. But they might not now seem as laughable as Muppets, false as puppets. Do I sound glum? My words too morbid? My moments from a mind of madness? Fleeting and baseless? Empty as a grave opened or a portal with no door to enter? Less of this speech of rot you cry, less of a speech of what I sigh. Fakery begets nothing but tears of decay. Is my truth such a dagger putting stains on your swagger? I yet have your number marked with its wonder. From the day of your birth until you part this earth, don't point your finger with its cuticle of anger. For life is indeed a showman's show, nothing more and offers less, until we tumble from its edge. So far down we go, until far up we flow, soaring high towards that brighter glow that can never be found here below. Crash, crash, bang, bang, wallop, wallop. Thank you.
Have another one, Jane, or you have any more for us at the moment, or? Sorry, you're muted. Just
Yeah, I do have one actually. It was something like, it's not one of mine, it's something I came across.
okay.
I'm reading this book called The Wisdom of
Right.
Psychopaths. It's really good. And it talks about what we could learn from psychopaths.
Right, not about our government, is it?
Actually, no, it's about saints, spies, and serial killers.
Right.
But we can learn something. But in the book, he quotes a poem. And it was a wonderful little poem. And the poem was written in 1927. And it's written here by a celebrated New York columnist called Don Marquis. Don Marquis. And the poem goes, I was talking to a moth the other evening. He was trying to break into an electric light bulb and fry himself on the wires. Why do you fellows pull this stunt? I asked him. Because it is the conventional thing for moths. Is it that? Why is that? Sorry, I'll start again. Why do you fellows pull that stunt? I asked him, because is it the conventional thing for moths to do? Or why, if that had been an uncovered candle instead of an electric light bulb, you would now be a small, unsightly cinder. Have you no sense? Plenty of it, he answered. But at times we get tired of causing it and using it. We get bored with the routine and crave beauty and excitement. Fire is beautiful, you see, and we know that if we get too close to it, it will kill us. But what does that matter? It is better to be happy for a moment and be burned with beauty than to live a long life and be bored all the while. So we wad all our life up into one little roll, and then we shoot the roll. That is what life is for. It is better to be a part of beauty for one instant and then cease to exist than to exist forever and never be a part of beauty. Our attitude toward life is come easy, go easy. We are like human beings used to be before they became too civilized to enjoy themselves. And before I could argue him out of his philosophy, he went and immolated himself on a patent cigar lighter. I do not agree with him myself. I would rather have half the happiness and twice the longevity. But at the same time, I wish there was something I wanted as badly as he wanted to fry himself. I love that poem. It's such a sweet little poem. And I Googled the guy's name, Googled the guy's backstory and ordered his books. I've got a book about moths and butterflies and light bulbs.
Well, he sounds like he understands what psychopathy is about, actually.
And that's why he used it. He used the moth because what he says in the book is that psychopaths live in the moment.
They do. They like danger. And
Yeah,
themselves.
exactly. Oh, so it's a really good book.
Yeah.
I do recommend
Used to
it.
work with them, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, were you
Anyway.
a psychologist?
No, I was a forensic social worker.
Oh, right.
for,
Okay.
Home office patients. So.
Oh, of course, yeah. Enough said. Yeah.
Thanks, Heather. It was really interesting. So thank you very much. And I loved your Crash Bang Wallop poem before that as well. Right. Dr. Keith Dutton. Kevin Dutton. Dr. Kevin Dutton. Okay. There we go. Alan. You ready, Alan?
Well, I think so. I've had a few technical hitches to say the least, but I'm back. So hopefully I've got them sorted out now.
Okay.
A little while back, I did a workshop in Croydon. It was all about pubs that were closing down or had closed down and what have you. And the people that I did it with were making a film. And I sort of written a poem, sort of surprise, about a pub. And it's going to go, the film is going into some sort of like archive for Croydon, and they said that they would include my poem in it for it. So anyway, this is called The Dog. I stood on the wooden trapdoor, a soft, springy cakewalk, where back in the day, casks of ale would have been lowered into the cellar. Peering through the window, the aroma of beer seeped from the woodwork into the street. Behind me, the hustle and bustle of the market, but not at the pace of days gone by. The Dog, as it's known locally, sits near the centre of the market, a brown relic of the past. Back in its day, we would shimmy shoulder to shoulder past those narrow doors on our journey past the market's many stalls. Shopping done, some would return for a pint before leaving for home, enter through those hallowed doors with their leaded glass windows distorting the outside world, and you stepped through time. But this wasn't just a pub, this was a market boozer, a place where deals were done and the world put to rights. One room, the full ground floor of the building, wooden panelled walls, wooden floor and beams in the ceiling, a spit and sawdust second home for market traders. In the centre of the room, a rectangular wooden bar adorned with beer-stained rings and many pumps standing to attention, waiting to be pulled. The bar top sticky from time. In the centre of the bar, above the timber shelving, adorned with soft drinks and mixers, In the centre of the bar, above the timber shelving adorned with soft drinks and mixers, hung upturned bottles of spirits to suit all tastes, their optics waiting to be plunged. Behind the jump, the barkeep and his wife kept busy through the lunchtime scrum as punters jostled to the bar, their battle-weary pewter pots removed from the hooks overhead to be filled with a pint of their favourite beverage. Another punter heaves the door open. As he enters, the bright light causes everyone to squint. Colourful shadows of shoppers outside pass by the thick dropped glass bar and windows. Drinkers rest their elbows and pints on the thin window ledge as they chat about this and that. Out the back is a loosely termed beer garden. It's more a courtyard crammed with benches and chairs. It bursts with laughter, the chinking of glasses and atmosphere, as some await their lunch. Nothing fancy, two choices, ham or cheese, between two buttered slices of doorstep bloomer, with tomato or pickle, garnished with a slice of lettuce. The barkeep's wife skillfully weaves her way through the throng, plates up her arm, delivering her treats. Then she retreats to make more. There are many dogs in markets across London, some with ducks, some with balls, some with trumpets, but they were all primarily the same, watering holes for grafting market traders. But sometimes, like me, others would make their excursion into their world and a different slice of life. If I pass an old pub now with the beer aroma wafting into the street, it reminds me of those days long past. Or I might step onto the cellar door to be reminded of the drayman rolling his barrels and lowering them on a rope into the cellar to be laid to rest in anticipation for later consumption. Unfortunately, with the passing of time, a lot of pubs like this are gone, boarded up, or have become mini marts or restaurants, no longer supporting the locals and local workforce, just ghosts of what they once were. Thank you.
Sounds remarkably like the Dog and Ball in Surrey Street, Alan.
Exactly. I used to go in when I didn't work for British Gas, but I freelanced in their art studio, and
Right.
that was exactly where I based it. So that one's still, but there are a lot in town that are gone.
Well, we used to meet there, Poets Anonymous, upstairs there, so once upon a time.
Oh, right.
Many years ago.
Many years ago, yeah. Have you got another one for us, Alan?
I've got another one, a shorter one.
Thank you.
This is called Sometimes. Sometimes when he walked through his kitchen door, he would see his mum help him with Christmas lunch. Sometimes when he was ironing, he thought he heard his mum's gentle hum. Sometimes when he glanced from the bedroom window, he thought he saw her pottering in the garden. Sometimes he sat at his dining room table and felt she was sitting opposite, drinking tea with him. Sometimes he thought he saw her walking on the opposite side of the road. Sometimes there were other triggers that brought his mum to mind, but unfortunately, with the passing of times, those thoughts and images became less frequent. Sometimes he would squeeze his eyes tightly closed and see her face. She was always laughing. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, lovely. Thanks, Alan. That's very thoughtful, thought-provoking, that one. Yeah, we never leave those we've lost, do we? Really, they're still around. Nick, we're ready for you. Please bring your library there.
Right.
Right.
So this is what I wrote today, and it's called Politics. Trees are shedding leaves, revealing intricately varied shapes beneath, the textures and hues of bark, and sudden gulf of thought between evergreen and deciduous, those who won't give 1 inch and those prepared to pull back and husband resources for a spring they have learned to trust will come again. And this is what I wrote, fortnight ago, back, almost before autumn, or before this phase of autumn. It's called One November Morning. The whole sky, a pastel grey of layered clouds, the softened sun shining through, although still too bright to look at. So I cast my eyes along the road to see the greens, reds, browns and yellows of early autumn dance, still vivid as we turn into November.
Oops. I seem to have done something with myself here. I don't know what.
I'm sorry, George.
Right. Yeah, I seem to have done something to my picture. I don't know. I'll have to sort it out later on. I've gone into Mr. Blobby. Switch to active speaker. No, I've gone back to you. Oh, you're the active speaker. Start video. Right. Oh, I'm back. Right. Okay, I can see myself again now. It was a horrible
Good.
sight. But thanks, thanks for those two. Yeah, I don't know how you can be so prolific sometimes, Nick. Put us to shame. Lovely poems. Thank you.
Thank you.
Peter, we're ready for you.
Right, thank you. I'm going to read a poem by Edward Thomas and then a poem by Sally Purcell.
Right.
So Edward Thomas, The New House. Now first, as I shut the door, I was alone in the new house, and the wind began to moan. Old at once was the house, and I was old. My ears were teased with the dread of what was foretold. Nights of storm, days of mist without end, sad days when the sun shone in vain, old griefs and griefs not yet begun. All was foretold me, naught could I foresee, but I learnt how the wind would sound after these things should be. That was Edward Thomas. And now, one of these is, this is Sally Purcell. And I apologize for my Latin pronunciation, but I think the name of the poem is Ripae Ulterioris. Edward Thomas learned how the wind would sound after these things should be. Merlin foreknew the song he would sing when the wall of air closed round him. The heart rises to recognize that secret lightning, leap into a dark whose further bank is revealed to love, suddenly, beyond guessing, given.
Thank you, Peter. I haven't got my printer up and running, so I'm sort of handwriting my stuff at the moment, so it's a kind of a scribble, so bear with me. This poem is called Samhain Meeting. Samhain was the original Celtic festival celebrated on the 31st of October to the 1st of November, and the Christians came along and nicked it and called it All Hallows Night. But basically Samhain is the changing of one world into another. It's based on natural rhythms and being in touch with nature. So this is an imaginary Samhain meeting. I stood by the mage with moss green hair and a face as white as frost, beneath an ancient oak, and considered all I'd lost. The ways of speaking to the birds and knowing when the seeds would grow, of flying with the bats and bees, and of things that I don't now know. In her sad eyes I see the tears, clear as the mountain dew. I weep for you, my friend, she said, and the things that you once knew. You knew when the salmon would leap the streams, when the ants would grow their wings, how the poppy flower would give sweet dreams, and the sweetness when the blackbird sings. What we have loved has passed with time, like hedgerow fruits, no longer gathered, though the seasons still have their rhyme, and some still care for what once mattered. So that's Samhain. And this one is called The Warrior's Farewell. My lady of sorrows, weep not for me, for life's been as full as I hoped it would be. Though I sought not riches, nor did I seek pain, had we not met, I'd wish to live again. So dry those eyes, nothing lasts forever, not roses, sweet blossoms, nor deep purple heather. Let me feel those lips soft as a feather, and think of the days we had together. This lifeblood now spilt because of a war will bring no stain on what went before. The smell of your scent, the touch of your lace, the fall of the garments, the gentle embrace, are moments to carry away with me as I embark on a voyage on an endless sea. Okay, that's it. Apologies for to get that printer and my glasses sorted out. Anyway, it's break time, everybody. That was very enjoyable. So, okay, can we start with you, Alan, please? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
right, yeah, so I just moved myself. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, this one I've called it. Well, it's called waiting. Waiting, they shake their limbs. Heart rates increasing, trying to remain relaxed, focused. The summer sun warms them. The smell of fresh cut grass and rubber tartan track in their nostrils. They wait in their running colours, adrenaline rising. Take your marks. Hearts now pounding. They walk forward, place their hands just behind the start line, feet in blocks or spikes dug into the track. They wait again as time slows. Set. They rise, body weight forward over their hands, shoulders taking the strain. Time elongates, all sound reduces, chests and temples thumping to their heart's rhythm and the anticipation. The gun fires. The wait now over, they lunge forward. Who will be the first to leave on the beat of bang? Thank you. Another one? Yeah. This is called Doing What Comes Naturally. A thump against the garden fence, a clambering to the top. Poised to gain his balance, he then softly dropped. Sorry, start again. I'll start again. A thump against the garden fence, a clambering to the top. Poised to gain his balance, he then softly dropped into the flower bed. Walking onto the lawn with his trophy in his mouth, he then dropped it. No longer interested, he licked his paws. He sniffed his quarry, a mouse. It lay unmoving, dead. He pushed it with a paw, sniffed it again. It didn't move. All interest now lost, he wanders off. A magpie sees an opportunity, the scavenger that he is. He hops around the mouse, cautiously circling the stiffened body. Nothing to see here, he hops away. A few minutes later, as if resurrected, the mouse jumps to its feet and, as quick as lightning, runs for cover. Thank you.
Yeah, they do that, don't they, mice? Sometimes they seem to freeze up, and then when you think they're dead, they shoot off. So it's a...
Yeah. It's my neighbour's cat, but he loves to bring all his trophies and leave them in my garden. And I was watching from the kitchen window, like they do. But yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, we had a weird experience the other day. I've been to visit someone in hospital and came back to my daughter's house with my daughter in the car, and one of her bantams was missing. You know, one of her chickens, Elvira. And Elvira was, 3 were there, but the 4th one was missing. And so we're out in the garden. I had my little car key lights, and she had a proper torch. And we're looking at all the bushes for about half an hour. And Lemmy came out, and he just went up to this bush and went down his feet and just, sort of sniffed the bush. And there was a chicken all huddled up because it had obviously been too frightened to go in the storm. It didn't go back to the coop.
Oh, right.
And it shed a lot of feathers. It was in a bit of a state, but but she's okay, Elvira. She's recovering. But anyway, Lemmy to the rescue.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you.
Norman, okay.
Can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Well, I'm impressed about Lemmy because I've got a very good friend. He's got a beautiful retriever, and she would have just gone for the little bantam. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because when he first got this retriever, it was a rescue dog from Romania, and we're not quite sure of the complete background to it. But cut long story short, he was out. It had been trained, well disciplined, and for the first time he was down. Came close to this riverside, and there were some ducks, and the dog took off. It jumped into the river after these damn ducks. Got it back. There you go. Right. Well, I'm going to read 2, not mine. There's a common denominator, and the surname is Clark. John Cooper Clarke, not everyone's cup of tea, but I do like this one. It's short and it's witty. And then I'm going to read one from Gillian Clarke. I think, Peter, you're a fan of Gillian Clarke. Yes. And I think this is a typical Gillian Clarke, beautiful. But anyway, all day John Cooper. I want to see John Cooper Clarke. 2018, and he didn't disappoint. I've read through a couple of, I bought a couple of his books in that, and I'm not enamored with, everything, but he was really good live. Anyway, this is the one that everybody knows. It's very accessible. John Cooper Clarke, I Want to Be Yours. Let me be your vacuum cleaner, breathing in your dust. Let me be your Ford Cortina, I will never rust. If you like your coffee hot, let me be your coffee pot. You call the shots, I want to be yours. Let me be your raincoat for those frequent rainy days. Let me be your dreamboat when you want to sail away. Let me be your teddy bear. Take me with you anywhere. I don't care. I want to be yours. Let me be your electric meter. I will not run out. Let me be the electric heater you could get cold without. Let me be your setting lotion. Hold your hair with deep devotion, deep as a deep Atlantic Ocean. That's how deep is my emotion. Deep, 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 the deep. I don't want to be hers. I want to be yours. Yeah, we'll have it. Or something much more serious, but excellent. This is Gillian Clarke, and it's called Plums. When their time comes, they fall without wind, without rain. They seep through the tree's muslin in a slow fermentation. Daily, the low sun warms them in a late love that is sweeter than summer. In bed at night, we hear heartbeat of fruit fall. The secretive slugs crawl home to the burst honeys, are found in the morning, mouth on mouth, inseparable. We spread patchwork counterpanes for a clean catch. Baskets filled, never before such harvest, such a hunter's moon burning. The hawthorns drunk on syrups that are richer by night when spiders pitch tents in the wet grass. This morning, the red sun is opening like a rose on our white wall. Prints there the fishbone shadow of a fern. The early blackbirds fly, guilty from a dawn haul of fallen fruit. We too breakfast on sweetnesses. Soon, plum trees will be born, grown delicate with frost's formalities. Their black angles will tear the snow. Pretty good, eh?
Absolutely.
One of my favorite, every time you read, we've all got favorite, poems, not necessarily poets, but I mean, I just love this, Drunken Syrup there. They are richer by the night when spiders pitch tents in the wet grass. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, she was the poet laureate for Wales, so she's pretty good.
Here we are.
Very good. Jane, are you still there?
Sorry, could I quickly ask a question?
Yes.
I'm back there with that dog, Norman. Did the dog eat the ducks?
No.
All right, okay.
He just it's a she actually. She just chased them, and she was flapping about so much. I mean, George, that's my friend. He got hold of her, and ever since that day, if they're remotely close to a pond or river, and that she's on the lead.
Yeah.
She gets walks every day, but it's in the middle of the country sort of thing now. Oh no, she never.
Okay.
Nothing. She didn't get that. No.
Thank you.
Can I just say, don't let Suella hear about spiders pitching tents.
Oh yeah,
it's a lifestyle choice for the spiders.
Yeah, she'll send them to Rwanda.
Yeah.
Oh God, that's a good one, Peter. Yeah, I'm with you. What a carry on.
Yeah, I call it Cruella.
I was Googling Rwanda to see how safe it would be if we had to go there. And of course, we don't know half of it. I mean, it's Christ. Yeah, beautiful country, actually. Beautiful country, but it's the, I think there's a lot of corruption there. You know, it's not the, I just don't think it's safe for people, ex-boat people, if you want to call them that, just to be thrown in there. Anyway,
It's just a source of income for the leaders. That's all.
Yeah.
For the ruling class. You know, it's a horrendous, horrible thing to even contemplate doing that to people who've suffered like some of the immigrants have. You know, where's our humanity gone? Anyway, don't get me started. Jane, you ready?
Yes, I am.
Lovely.
This poem is called Whatever Happened to Michael. Can you hear me?
Yes, wonderfully.
Yeah. Yeah. Michael was a caretaker at one of our schools in Walthamstow, and he was from Montserrat. And when he retired, we waved him goodbye, and Michael showed us his house, the house he'd built for going back home. And he said, "You're all welcome to come," you know, as if we'd be dropping by Montserrat anytime. But anyway, Michael left. And then years later, I heard of the volcano. Remember the volcano? Quite a few years now. This poem is old. And I wondered about Michael and whether his house had gone up in smoke or whatever. So this is called Whatever's Happened to Michael. Say, has anybody seen Michael's house? The one he built with all his savings. The one he built with his own hands. He just looked around and it was gone. He just looked around and it was gone. From his balcony on the 17th floor of a London town block, an old black man sits flying paper planes. He launches them with great dexterity, and through thick binoculars he follows their descent and smiles with satisfaction as they zigzag crazily to the ground. Say, has anybody seen Michael's house? The one he built beneath the mountains. A lovely house with natural fountains. He just looked around and it was gone. He just looked around and it was gone. From the top of his mountain in Montserrat, Lord Vulcan too amuses himself, sitting on his haunches in a state of undress, leaning forward to perform such an unmannerly display of belching, throat clearing, and spitting that the devil himself would cringe. Says anybody seen Michael's house? The one he built on Montserrat. He just looked around and it was gone. He just looked around and it was gone. I knew a man named Michael once who had but one ambition: to build a back home island dream house of his own, high up on a hill with the sea as his front lawn, wild woods as his backyard, and mountain ranges for a fence. And he did. With his lifetime savings in his own 2 hands, he built this house. Now nothing but a faint memory, blurred by billowing black smoke, the sulfuric smell of red-hot ash, and the acrid taste of volcanic soot. Says anybody seen Michael's house? Has anybody seen this dream home? The one he built on Montserrat. He just looked around and it was gone. He just looked around and it was gone. He just looked around and it was gone. Now, as I watch this frail elder while away his days from the confines of this concrete height, I remember Michael and cannot help but wonder whatever's become of him.
Oh, thank you, Jane. We got the guitar. I don't know if it's a guitar, but we got some sound distortion there again. But the pathos of that song is so enormous. I don't think most people here will appreciate the dream of return. That a lot of people who come from the Caribbean had their dream of saving up money and going back there and living there one day and creating a home again. And the pathos of
absolutely
doing that and going back and finding
nature. Yeah. Yeah, it's nature. In some people's cases, they send money for their brothers, uncles, whoever to build, and they find they've built them a shack while they use the money to build their own house.
Yeah.
Some of them have returned because things were so bad. There's a lot of pathos in the whole Windrush thing.
There is. Yeah.
Well, I remember Michael so well, and I wondered, somebody told me, they thought they saw him back in London living with his daughter. And can you imagine? You come at 20 and 21, but then to return at 70, 71, living with your daughter. But I'm hoping Michael's well. I'm hoping he's a very happy 90-something. But I don't know, just my imagination and my thoughts went with Michael. I'm hoping it's just imagination, not real.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for that, Jane.
Yes, I will add, Jane, that was absolutely beautiful. That
it was.
It's just a shame about the sound. It's just
the quality of the sound.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yes. I don't know is it the guitar sounding disjointed or is
it it's crackly and then little gaps occur. But you've got such a sweet voice and such a beautiful guitar sound, and and the message was very powerful. And but
my computer, I'm no good at computers. Yeah.
Well, it's technology, isn't it? Really, it's not perfect.
Yes,
or just the broadband connection to North London.
Yes,
it's better to Washington in the States than it is to North London.
It could be Peter. I don't know.
It will be
North Yorkshire. So
thank you.
No, it could well be the broadband. It could well be the broadband because it got so much better when you turn the picture off, which suggests it's not managing to send everything.
Yeah. Can we go to Heather and then to Nick, please, and then Peter?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. God, how do I beat that? How do I top that?
You've got a different style, which is very good, Heather.
You've got a beautiful voice, Heather. Lovely dulcet tones your voice has.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you. I'll just give you just a teeny weeny backstory on this. I wrote this poem during the rollout of the vaccines. I'm on a walking stick, and I'm on a walking stick as a result of that one and only flu vaccine I took back in 2010, and I vowed never again. My neurologist called, tried to get me to take the COVID, and we ended up having a massive row. I put the phone down, said a load of expletives, called my sister more expletives, and I thought, you know, I'm going to write a fucking poem. Excuse my French. Right. Okay, so it goes like this. Old medicine, it's called Old Medicine of Magic. Transform my will from this to that. Human no more, make me a cat. Seek and thus have, say my witch's brew. Sour sweet taste and all natural its hue. Like soap the flavor, now cleaning my tongue. Cringed by its texture, now trapped in its throng. Of olden recipes to startle my change. A change that must, however lame. Ceilings and skies now deaf to all pleas. Come needles of death from which I now flee. Lest further blight that was once bright. Forgive me my fears, but day has turned night. Promise me not that no scourge shall result. No person's breath shall cease my revolt. My body is mine, no science dictate. No relapsing of judgment as rats on a freight. Try as I must to find glamour anew, like a cat on a walk or a runway of views. No more shall I worsen this hurt. My olden day medicine is where I shall flirt.
Lovely.
Very good, Heather. You've got another one for us, or you? No? Okay. Thank you very much. That was lovely. That's very imaginative. Thank you. Nick, you ready?
No, not really.
All right.
I'll read you
Go on
this
then.
one.
Go on then.
This is Out of Eden. I can almost taste the scent of Eden's flowers in the solitary stillness of the early hours. My inner self and I have a secret assignation, but I find I'm wrapped in my quiet contemplation as thoughts begin to slide from right to left, to leave me feeling both broken and bereft, and somehow also stronger and at peace. With this rented soul I own on day release, from an eternity of trials and tribulations on a railway between an infinity of stations, sometimes guard, signal man or engine driver, sometimes driven passenger, always, so far, survivor, imprisoned in an infinite array of lifetimes, connected through a network of night times such as these.
What was the title of that one, Nick?
Out of Eden.
Yeah, sorry.
Right.
I'm thinking of
Got
East of
another one for
Eden.
us, Nick? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just yeah, it's one I wrote between going to sleep and waking up. Wrote some of it at night before I fell asleep, and the rest of it in the morning. I don't know, give me a number. Where have I got to now?
27.
Sorry, 27. Right, an early one. Oh, okay. I always cry when I read this one. I'll do my best. It's a coincidence of time and space. And it's got a little introduction. An accident of fate, a coincidence of time and space, turns an event from something known, perhaps read about in newspaper or presented to us on the radio or television, into that which is experienced. The sky was a brilliant blue, the grass a true lush green, bold white cliffs a perfect day. Walking out on Beachy Head, the two of us together, a long climb out of the town, up from the busy pier. We read about another couple on Beachy Head that day, with their dead son in a rucksack and his toys in another, unutterable love in their hearts, and the sky and the grass meant nothing, and the cliffs were a means to an end.
Oh boy. I mean, what can I say? I'll never forget 27, Nick. Yeah, I mean that is heavy, but it's good heavy. You with me?
Yeah. Yeah, it was a
Poetry does that. It comes along, kicks you in the gut sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, it was a real story. It was very sad.
And then you wrote that other one you wrote about that flat where there was someone that killed themselves. Do you remember that one, Nick? In one of your poems.
Oh
That
yeah.
was, yeah. That was in Picking Up the Pieces, wasn't it?
Yeah, well both those are. Both
Yeah,
those are,
yeah.
that's in my book as well.
Yeah.
Available
Anyway.
from Amazon or from me, slightly less. Next
It's a
week,
good
I'll send
read.
you one.
I can recommend it. It's some wonderful sonnets in there, and it's very good on it's very good on wagtails as well. I can recommend it. And
Yeah.
mathematics. Right.
It was a favourite.
Where are we coming to? Peter now.
Right, I'll read a couple of more poems by Sally Purcell. Queen Prosperina walks. Queen Prosperina walks through late autumn. The glowing fruit of ice that she holds covers the dying sun and chills all ripeness to the bone. The pomegranate that illumines the streets of the dead sheds Gorgon light on every richness. Yet the waning day and creatures, knowing her untouched by pity, still invoke her gentleness. Allow us, lady, a small time of warmth against the frozen hand of glory, and some few kind illusions kept from summer's wreckage, a brief and sudden breath of flowers in this mortal winter. And Ariadne. Within the glowing maze Ariadne stands. A buried city forms her dance's pattern. Her labyrinth is founded on the ruined banks of Troy. Out of the bittersweet air she leads him, the king who dances through his fate in Troy game, the unchanging order. His long-told story ripens to an end. He passes through the final blaring splendor, and the ancient threads are wound again, rewoven.
Thank you, Peter. Lovely. As my
But
eyes
remember,
are
don't tell Suella.
yeah, true. As my eyes are playing up tonight, I'll just do a song, which is one of the few songs I can remember. Last night I had the strangest dream I'd ever dreamed before. I dreamt the whole wide world agreed to put an end to war. I dreamt I saw a mighty room, and it was filled with men. And the paper they were signing said they'd never fight again. And when the paper had been signed and 1,000,000 copies made, they all knelt down upon their knees and grateful prayers were prayed. And the people in the streets below were dancing round and round, and swords and guns and uniforms were scattered on the ground. Last night I dreamt the strangest dream I'd ever dreamed before. I dreamt the whole wide world agreed to put an end to war. That's it. Anyway, nice evening, everybody.
George,
Thanks,
what's
George.
George,
Yeah.
what's the title of that song?
It's very pertinent.
That's It's on an EP called Monday morning 3 a.m. 9 a.m. I think. Simon and Garfunkel. Last night I had the strangest dream. Yeah.
That sounds strange.
It's slightly different. Their
Yeah.
tune is different to the one I sing it to, because I think mine's nearer to the original, because it's an old traditional song, but
Yeah.
they sort of jazzed it up a bit. They've got a banjo in it.
When
as
you say
well.
Harold is that? It sounds
I don't
very.
know,
It sounds
but
very
I just know
Celtic.
Yeah, there probably is actually.
Yeah.
It probably is, because
Yeah,
you know,
it
it
sounds-
talks about men and prayers and all that. Assumes everyone's a Christian, so it's probably, you know, it's probably
Yeah, from back then.
yeah,
Welsh or Irish, yes.
Yeah.
could be Irish. Yeah, could be Irish. Yeah.
Simon and Garfunkel are good at that sort of thing. I won't say they stole, but Scarborough Fair,
Yeah.
Martin McCarthy, I think it was. He had the original
He
that
did.
became popular, but it goes further back than Martin McCarthy. But Paul Simon nicked it basically and redid it.
Mhm.
The rest history.
Yeah.
Did he
Yeah.
credit did he
No, I don't
admit
think
it wasn't his?
no, I don't think Martin McCarthy got a penny.
No, I
It's
don't
always
think he did.
Oh, it's not right. That's not
Last
right.
Night I Had the Strangest Dream was written by American folk singer-songwriter Ed McCurdy in 1950.
Oh, it was 1950. Okay.
I think it's earlier than that, though, isn't it?
No, if he wrote it in 1950.
Oh well, yeah, I suppose so. Yeah.
Yes.
Ed McCurdy.
Yes.
I remember that
So-
song. I
Pete
remember-
Seeger
Scottish,
recorded it in 1956.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
remember the name. Yeah.
So you would have got the writers' royalties for it, but
Yeah.
I hope so.
Oh,
Yeah.
I haven't got to pay him royalties, have I, for singing it?
Yeah.
No.
Deny it,
Probably.
deny it.
You,
No,
you do that when you
you're
go
making
viral
no
on
profit.
YouTube.
Yeah,
I don't know. I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
it's only 5 years. It might be okay.
Yeah.
It might be out
Yeah.
copyright. I'm not sure.
That's-
Don't record it and sell it. You'll be all right.
He won't. He won't
Yeah.
be living off it. Like Noddy Holder's living off his Christmas single.
Noddy Holder. God, that takes me back. Whoa.
Yeah. Well, what is it?
That takes me back.
I've forgotten the title of the song. It's Christmas.
It's
Christmas, everybody.
Christmas.
That's
How does it
Merry
go
Christmas,
again?
everybody.
How does it go again?
Yeah, well, he's
Yeah,
been
Merry
quoted
Christmas,
as saying it's paid his mortgage off, and I don't know how much he's making per annum and that, but he gets quite a lot.
Please don't, Heather. I won't be able to get it out of my head when I go to bed.
Does it go like that?
We've got another we've got another Zoom meeting before Christmas. so
Heather's
Jane, you
well
can
away
sing it.
now.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I know.
Yeah, I think that's when I'm doing my
You're
travelling,
happy, and
actually,
that's
Peter. So
great.
yeah, we
I do that.
15th.
You're happy.
I think it's
The-
15th.
the 15th. Yeah, I think that's when I'll be travelling, unfortunately. But
Where else
probably
you
in the
going?
car heading back up north about on the 15th. I'll try and avoid it if I can, but you know.
Well, try and teach Lemmy to drive, and then you can drive, and you
Well,
can on your
That's
iPad.
true.
Yeah, my daughter wants to come back on the 15th, and
Oh,
I'm not.
right.
But if she's got well, I suppose I could leave early. I'll see what I can do anyway. See what I can
Yeah.
do near the
Yeah.
time.
I can't make the in-person meeting in
Oh,
December.
oh, Nick, I'm heartbroken.
What are you going
But-
to see?
Well, we will-
Choir of Man.
All right. Right.
I don't know much
Well-
about it either.
What is that related to Isle of Man or something?
But with more singing in a pub, apparently.
Oh, right, okay. Well, got your priorities right, Nick.
Nice.
Fisherman's Friends.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I just heard men singing in a pub. I'm thinking Fisherman's Friends.
Oh, yeah, they were good, weren't they? The Cornish fishermen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the trawler songs, those sort of shanties.
Mm.
All the way, la, 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 all that kind of stuff.
Oh, it's hard work, you know, them working on deck, pulling ropes and that. And I bet they must have had, there was no gloves, you know, what were their hands like, you know, pulling ropes and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
you know,
Dogs.
Bryony,
hard.
Bryony. I always get a bit intimidated when I'm singing in front of Jane because Jane can actually sing.
I love that one with the guitar playing. It was
Jane's
beautiful,
got-
lovely.
Jane's
Thank
got
you.
this ability. She's got a lovely voice, and it just strums away. And it's
Yeah.
almost like I've heard her sing a few times. She was great tonight, but it was crackly. But I mean, it's like a lullaby. I mean, she
Yeah.
would easily put me to sleep in a nice way.
Really, yeah, wonderful.
You'll notice I nicked that tune, yes? From
Yes, yeah.
yes. The tune was nicked. I'm not making a record, so I won't be sued. But that tune came to my head after I'd written the poem to Michael. But thank you. You're so kind. It's wonderful. Thank you so much. And have a good Christmas, because I won't be here. My daughter and I were going to Ghana and South Africa from the 15th. So
Okay, my brother went there. He loved it. He loved it there. So the people were
Africa or
really
Ghana?
Ghana, Ghana, not Guyana, Ghana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ghana, yes. I think
Yeah.
my ancestors must be from Ghana. I just get that feeling, that affinity.
A lot of Caribbean people can trace it. Irma's ancestors were from Ghana.
Yes.
Well,
So
have
have
a
a
lovely
good break,
time, Jane.
Christmas break, and enjoy
Okay, Jane.
yourselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you.
I'm going to go now, guys, and I'll see you. I'll definitely be there for the next month's one.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
take
You
care.
sing.
January, yes.
Stay
Yeah.
safe.
Right,
Take
Yeah.
care.
right, take
All
care.
right, everybody.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.